Hi, my name is Bonnie Barker. I'm with BonnieBabeCrochet.com, and today I wanted to demonstrate for you a simple granny square. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm just using worsted weight yarn, or some of you may be familiar with the Super Saver yarn by Red Heart Yarns, and I'm using a size I or 9 or 5.50 millimeter crochet hook. You can use a variety of yarns and hook sizes. So if this is not exactly what you have, don't worry. Just use what you have to try to learn this today. Okay, so I'm going to start with a slip knot. If you're a very much a beginner and need to learn some of these basic stitches, I do have some other videos that would be really good to start with before we do the granny square. But if you want to go ahead and start with this, come along. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 4. Now I'm going to make a ring by working a slip stitch in the first chain that I just worked and pull it through, and I get a small donut, or I like to call a Cheerio here. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets going right into the center of the ring. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2. The chain 2s in the granny square are actually going to be the corners. Let me show you one other thing. I am taking this extra strand and I am actually putting that on the outside of the ring, and I am crocheting around that as well. It's just a quick and easy way to hide the strand. Okay, now I am crocheting 3 double crochets. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to turn a little bit, and I'm going to do 3 more double crochets, all worked inside the very same ring. Okay, I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to give you a nice view of this. You can see how it's coming together. It's starting to become a square, and these are going to be the corners. So I did another chain 2, and I'm going to do 3 more double crochets right in the center. Okay, chain 2, and now let's take a look at this. We only did 2 double crochets here, and the reason for that is that this chain 3 serves as an alternate double crochet. If we put an extra double crochet there, this side would be extra wide and it would kind of be all out of sorts. So now we are just going to do a slip stitch. I'm going to work through 2 of the strands, if you can see that. Slip stitch. Now normally, if we were going to be changing colors at this point, we would go ahead and fasten this off. I would pull this tight, and then we would join in another corner with a different color. This is just a more simplified version of a granny square. This is going to be all worked in one color, just to show you an alternative to changing colors every round. Okay, so we've chained 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to turn. Now before I do that, I am going to clip this strand so I don't have to look at it anymore. Okay, now we're going to be working in the corner again. Whenever you have a corner, after the chain 3, you're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets, always looking for that, giving the effect of that 3 stitch cluster. I'm going to call this a cluster. Now I'm going to only chain 1 since it's going to be in between corners, and now we go to the next corner and we work another corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to chain 1 because I'm in between corners, and I go to the next corner and we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, I'm going to turn a little bit, and we're going to work 3 more double crochets in the same corner. Chain 1, and then we're going to work our last corner. Okay, these corners are going to be a little more understandable once we get past this round. I may have called these rows, but they're rounds because they go around. All right, chain 2 and then 3 more. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to join, do the slip stitch just like so. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Before I do, let me show you. Excuse me. Okay, now the corners are always going to have 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet worked in this space. Now when we get to the spaces like this that are not a corner, you are only going to work 3 double crochets in those. Okay, turn. Now this is our well serves functionally as a double crochet, so we're only going to do 2 double crochets in this space. Then we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to work our corner. Okay, 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Now we get to the next part where there is just a space there. We're going to chain 1 and we are only going to work 3 double crochets, only 1 cluster. Chain 1. Now we've gotten to a corner again. It seems like there are an awful lot of corners when you're starting this project off, and it's because that's all you're working as you're beginning this. But once you get this square a bit bigger, if that is your goal, the corners are going to be much more infrequent. Okay, now chain 1. Now we only do 3 as we go across. Okay, one other thing I wanted to point out before I go any further. You always have a chain 2 at the corner, but in between the clusters as you're going across, just put 1 chain there. If you put 2, it's going to give much more of a ripply effect and it's not going to lay flat. So just one chain in between everywhere except the corners is where you're going to have chain 2. It just seems like they've done a lot of chain 2s because we mostly have had corners. Case in point, here's another corner. Chain 2. Okay, chain 1. The very first Afghan I ever made, I started off with the help of my neighbor when I was 7 years old. And she had made a couple of these Afghans where you just start off as a granny square and you just go round and round and round. She was alternating between blue and green. I'm sorry, between green and yellow. So I followed suit and made mine the same color that she did. And it, eventually it became big enough to put on my bed. It was a lot of fun to do, and I certainly learned how to do double crochet during that adventure. It took me 2 years to finish that project. Okay, so I'm going to do one more round for you. 1, 2, 3. Turn. And you can see there's more spaces that aren't corners here. Okay, so I did the chain 1. I'm sorry, the chain 3, which serves as a double crochet, and then I put 2 more double crochets. Chain 1. Now I do the corner. This can get as big or as big as you'd like it to be. Chain 2. And 3 double crochets again. Now we have chain 1, 3 double crochets, or I guess you could call this a cluster. Chain 1 and 3 more double crochets. chain 1, and then a corner. Let me also say one more thing about this. Be sure that you're careful to do the 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the same corner as you get to the corners. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone right by the corner, just put 3 stitches in there, and then have to come back and rip out a lot of stitching because I had lost my corner. So you want to make sure you pay attention to where you are in this pattern. Even though it's a simpler pattern, you can still get lost and have to do a fair amount of ripping out, and that's never fun, especially if it's more than one round. That can be really frustrating. Okay, I'm gonna now we have 3 double crochets in the space, chain 1. So I think by this time you should get the idea of what you're to do here. I want to make one other observation before I end this video, and that is, notice that when you stick to a solid color and you don't restart each round, it's a lot easier, for one thing, because you don't have to hide all these knots for every round that you do, and that's a big plus for me. And it really does kind of hide the seam here. Here's the seam that you are going to have when you do it this way. Okay, now if you change colors every round, you can change where you connect. Therefore, you won't have a seam, which is kind of an advantage too. But I just wanted to show you also how you have the back side facing, and then the front side facing, then the back side, and then the front side. And of course, when you work this pattern, it's not truly a back or a front, but would be reversible. So it doesn't matter which side is up, both sides can effectively be the front side. Okay, I'll go ahead and finish this round and show you what I have. Okay, I wanted to show you the finished, or at least the finished sample that I'm going to work for you today. This can be worked, like I said, any size. You can keep going pretty much indefinitely. You can change colors after a pre-designated number of rows. There is no front and back. Both are interchangeable. Okay. If you like this and you want to learn another small and quick project, I have another one called Granny Square Slippers that is on my YouTube channel. It's in 2 parts. Part 1 shows you how to make the granny squares. It's basically the same as what I've done here, with the exception that you're going to be changing yarn at the end of every round, and I do show you how to do that. And then video number 2 is how to construct them. So give that a try if you'd like, and check out any of my other videos here. If you have any questions, I love hearing from you. Please contact me. You can contact me on this YouTube site, or you can email me at bonniebay@me.com. I love to hear from people, and I do respond. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.